y'all. Once I stepped out my door, it was dice games right there. And, you know, the older guys, the drug dealers, that was appealing to me. I was attracted to that. So, you know, that's where it all started for me. I can remember being 8 years old and guys calling me a baby blood. So could you imagine a young child, you know, being placed with those type of expectations? So as a young kid, I'm thinking, all right, I'm a baby blood, I gotta put work in. Now I can't wait to be an official blood, because right now I'm just a baby blood.
We promote a culture as like, if somebody don't ask for the information, we don't want to give it to them. What is knowledge for? What is that for?
I think I was about 3 or 4 years old where I really experienced my first trauma, and this is when my mother and my father separated from one another.
The kids that I was involved with, which is from Wagner Projects in Harlem. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. They have this little thing going on against each other that is basically, if you're from Wagner, you can go across the street to Jefferson, right? And if you're from Jefferson, you can go across the street to Wagner because you're gonna get shot, right? And I was basically mentoring the kids from Wagner. I had a few kids, they used to give me hell, but I used to write it out, right? And it used to basically be a really big impact for them. When I used to tell them my story and tell them that I was formerly incarcerated, they would be like, Miss Rosa, no, not you. Yeah, me, right? Because I made certain choices and I made certain decisions that landed me in a different place, right? I had to make those choices. They used to feel threatened, right, by different things that were going on in the neighborhood, so they formed their little gangs on their own. And I lost one of my kids. He was shot by that gang violence. And that really affected me because the night before we had group, and he was in my group, harassing me like he used to do every day for food. Miss Rosa, can I get more? Can I get seconds? And before he left, he would ask me for a plate to take. His name was Chico, and it was Good Friday the next day, and I'm sitting watching the news when it came up on the screen that he was shot dead. And I'm sitting in my sofa, and I screamed and fell on the floor. And my daughter comes out of the room, and she's like, Mom, what happened? And I couldn't even speak about it, right? Because I said, I can't believe that I'm watching this. Like, this kid was just 24 hours ago, sitting with me in group, giving me hell and all that stuff about food and all that stuff. But when it was about the lesson plan that I had for them and all that stuff, he would be the first one to give me respect, right? And he had this dream that he wanted to be a boxer. He was good with it too. We had bought him gloves and we was looking for a club that we could actually put him in. And he got shot on Good Friday.
Remember, in my neighborhood, I always wanted to be accepted. I always wanted to be known as the individual who was going to be accepted by the older guys in my block that was doing stuff that they had no business doing. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from East New York. It was very violent back then. You had to fight every day. You had to represent and let your name be known. And I had no problem letting people know who I was. And acknowledgement that I'm making reference to was something that was simply just, it was just ridiculous. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be accepted for just throwing bottles at cop cars. I wanted to be accepted for just punching somebody in the face. I wanted to be accepted for cutting somebody. I wanted to be accepted for shooting somebody. And I'm not happy that I did these things, but I was looking for validation. The problem with seeking validation is that when you get caught up in that process, you start building a name for yourself. And for me, that was probably the worst thing that could have happened. In my neighborhood, it was, you know, my name is Moshe. It's the name my father gave me. If Moshe did it, he did it. And I liked it. I like being known as the fact that Moshe did it. But the problem with that is that I created this pseudo-personality. I was living in two different worlds. To my mother, I was Moshe. But to the streets, I was Moshe.
The whole entire time I was gangbanging, I didn't want to do it. So I was doing something against my own will, to be honest with you. I was just, peer pressure. some twisted sense of belonging. And then, as I'm putting work in, how we call it, you know, you rise up in the ranks, and power is intoxicating. You know, power doesn't let you think clearly. We're teaching them workshops, you know, information, like, you know, the 4 aggravated factors to violence and rage. You know, information that these guys don't get usually. And you go in there, and it's baffling to me to really be outside of the picture now and look at that life. And it hurts. You know, you got these little rappers, drill rappers. You know, one of them is named D-Man, the other one is K-Flock. And you see these kids, and you see the video, but then you see him in the cell. And it's like the life is left them. And I'm trying to give them a little hope, like, you know what, I can prop myself up to show you that change is real. You come home, I can get you a job. You know, we can help you develop as a professional. We can give you the support. If you have to go upstate and do a bid, we can follow you, continue to mentor you, give you some guidance. Whenever you're ready to give up that life, we'll be there too, until you get released, you know?
Complaining, turning off the channel when we see this elected official. Why are we not at that city hall? Like, yo, bro, you promised me X, Y, and Z. Why are you not in your project building? Like, yo, every mother in this building got the same problem that I got. I know your son is out here wilding. I know your son is not going to school. I know your son is stealing your money to go smoke weed. I know your son is in that gang. Let's go together to the city hall. Let's go to a mayor's office. Let's do what we got to do to save our sons. You get what I'm saying? To save our brothers.